One of the biggest talking points of the F1 2022 season has to be the budget cap. During the biggest regulatory car changes in F1 history, the teams were hit with another financial change. To keep up with the ever-changing financial situation in the world and to make the gap between the top and bottom of the grid smaller, the F1 teams must abide a budget cap. The cost cap is a regulation put in place to make sure teams don't go over budget. It restricts the amount of money that one team may invest in car performance over the course of a season. F1 has established a cost cap administration to make sure all teams are adhering to the new financial rules, and the FIA also checks factories throughout the season. When initially announced in 2019, F1 outlined its aims to deliver a more competitive championship, promote a level playing field, and ensure the long-term financial stability and sustainability of F1's 10 teams. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, all teams agreed for the cap to be reduced from $175 million, or £139 in 2021, to $145 million, or £115 million, with a further reduction to $140 million, or £111 million for 2022, and then $135 million and $107 million for 2023 onwards. Teams have continued to improve their cars throughout the season, despite a $140 million budget cap for the 2022 Formula 1 season. And this has come to shock many fans, as it was expected that the teams would have less money to provide upgrades, but it seems that some teams have found a way to keep improving their car every week. And Mercedes is probably the most noticeable one on the grid. After all, they had to find a way to fix the porpoising even before they could think about upgrading the car. But somehow, they managed to stay within the budget for now, or they found a way around it. Do you think the budget cap helps create a more level playing field in F1? Let us know your thoughts below. So, let's find out how Mercedes is able to keep upgrading their W13 car. Toto Wolff, the head of Mercedes, outlined how his team was able to do this. Mercedes has been able to improve their vehicle on a regular basis despite a budget cap, according to Toto Wolff. From the 2022 Formula 1 season, the ceiling was set at $140 million, and early in the season, the top teams expressed concerns over the difficulties they could have in remaining within this number, particularly in light of an increase in inflation and rising freight costs. Wolff has described the procedure Mercedes uses to track the price of each technological advancement. I can speak for us. We have a tracker with the financial engineers that keeps track of every single process and every single component that is fitted to the single-seaters, Wolff said. So when we unload things from the truck, the financial engineer takes note of the value, and when it is used, it is counted. We're moving forward with the method we planned. At the beginning of the season, for many reasons, we didn't bring many updates. Now we're moving forward with the development program. Wolff emphasized how any violation of the rules would be like the same thing done with technical concerns, when asked if he had faith in the FIA's ability to ensure that teams stick to the budget cap. The regulation was already in place last year, and we will soon have the results that will confirm whether everyone has complied with the rules, the team boss explained. I simply believe that it is forbidden to make mistakes, because breaking the financial regulations is like breaking the technical ones. It seems that Mercedes have found a way to stay within budget cap by keeping tabs on every part that is fitted on the car. One thing that is worth noting that Wolff said was the fact that the parts are only counted when it's fitted. This could mean that teams could bring parts to the grid for just-in-case situations, and when it turns out the part wasn't needed, they can store it away without impacting the budget cap. This would suggest that it's possible to engineer new parts without having to register the cost in the case it's never been used. This could be the reason why Mercedes are being able to keep bringing upgrade after upgrade. And they have revealed that they won't stop upgrading their car after the summer break. Following Mercedes' first pole position of the 2022 Formula 1 season at the Hungarian Grand Prix, trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin of the team took some time to reflect on the W13's problematic performance, during which he said that there are more upgrades to come. This car has been particularly annoying in the way it gives you glimpses of performance and what might be, to a level where it's very difficult for us to just give up on it, said Shovlin. It sucks you in a bit from an engineering point of view. At this point in the summer break, Mercedes is affected by this irregularity in two ways. First off, it indicates that the W13 has too much potential for Mercedes to write it off and focus all of its resources on developing a 2023 design that is more in line with the concepts of the 2022 championship frontrunners. More upgrades are therefore on the way, beginning right after the break at Spa. The joy of competing for the win in Hungary is also muted by Mercedes' lack of knowledge on the viability of that performance, or whether it was merely an instance of the W13 acting favourably capriciously. Team manager Toto Wolff was extremely cautious when questioned following the Hungarian Grand Prix about whether his team's performance on Sunday stood out from prior races or was merely a result. Perhaps understandable, considering Hamilton's sprint to second place required a comeback effort as he could only qualify 8th owing to a DRS issue in Q3. We need to be careful that it's not specific to Budapest and that we just landed in the perfect window. Also because the other teams, Ferrari especially, complained about the tyre not being where it should have been, Wolff said. So my personal opinion is we're still lacking to the front runners. When asked if he believed the pace in Hungary was due to the current track circumstances favouring Mercedes' setup, or if it might genuinely represent a performance trend for the remainder of 2022, Wolff was arguably even more pessimistic. I don't know. I don't want to say now suddenly we're right bang into the game and we can win races, because I don't think that's the case, he said. I think we landed it well on Saturday and we are reaping the results today, but I don't think we're close enough to Ferrari and Red Bull to really fight them as of yet. However, one recurring theme in all of Mercedes' leadership's remarks during and after Hungary was that the team is finally now gathering trustworthy data regarding the car's routines and is making progress in understanding it. Maybe getting it so wrong on Friday was helpful in getting it almost completely right on Sunday. We have a lot of data to look at, a lot of positives from the last weekend in France, and here and to build on in the second half of the season. As Chauvelin put it, even in a successful year, a top F1 team improves with every new piece of information. Mercedes' disastrous year is teaching it even more. Every race we're learning at, and at the end of the year we sort of tend to write it all down in one place, and it's impressive that even after 20 races you're still finding out things, he said. Chauvelin called the France-Hungary podiums, pole and race-leading Hungary performance things that we could have only dreamed of earlier in the year, and added in the latest debrief video that the form trend now seems solid enough to start taking steps towards a better second half of the season. The car pace was also very good, and it's always nice to have a good race before you go into that period of holiday, Chauvelin added. The most satisfying thing though is to see where the car is in terms of pace now in qualifying and in the race. We had a lot of ground to make up from the start of the year. We've been working really hard trying to bring bits to every race, and it's really satisfying now to see that we are racing with the Ferraris with the Red Bulls right to the front. The improvements to the Belgian Grand Prix, according to him, won't need to be significant, transformative, or clear up any ambiguity. Rather, they will only be further measures to shrink an already modest margin. We're trying to bring some performance to Spa that will hopefully close the gap. We haven't got far to go now, said Chauvelin. But we'll be developing the car for a little while now. We're quite excited though. The last few races have been the most fun we've had all year, and we're just hoping that we can take that extra step, because we definitely want to be winning races in the near future, so we are working hard to try and achieve that. It may take a few races of consistency and a few upgrade packages with tangible immediate results for Mercedes to cease being irritated with their 2022 car, but it now appears possible to have a less difficult relationship with it, and to believe that the work put into creating it is worthwhile. What are your thoughts on the W13 so far, and do you think Mercedes will be able to keep upgrading their car with the budget cap in place? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest F1 news.